And guess what we're going to talk about on tonight? Single, saved, and sexy. Mm-hmm. Yes. Single, saved, and sexy. We want to deal with that tonight. Yes, we want to deal with that tonight. And guess what? Even though I said single, saved, and sexy, we're going to talk about it holistically. So we're going to talk about the singles. We're going to talk about the married, but particularly the singles. We're going to deal with that on tonight. Because when we think of sexy, we think of sexy being a bad word, sexy being a worldly thing, sexy being of the world. But God made sex, and God made sex good. But God made sex for married people, male and female. I'm going to say that again. I'm not going to bite my tongue on it. God made sex. God made sex good. But God made sex for husband and wife, for married people. Okay, so when we talk about saved, single, and sexy, and those of you on my heart talk, you know that I am not deep on here. I'm not going to get all deep in, spiritual. I'm going to meet you right where you are, because everybody's on different levels. We're not all on the same level. But we're going to deal with this because we're talking about love the skin you're in. And a lot of times we see that loving on us deeply in going to the bottom of the core of us. Sometimes we're so broken, ladies. Sometimes we're so broken, and even in our safe state, we take it a little bit to extreme. We take it a little bit too extreme. Um, we can be very sensual beings because God has created us to be that way. He's put that in us. We're emotional feelers. We're very in tune into our sexuality. We're very sensual creatures. But being sexy and saved, there's nothing wrong with it, but we have to know what exactly that means and how far do we take that, because it's not an outside thing. And sex appeal actually is something that's within. And to believe it or not, sex appeal is something that you have when you are very confident. When you're very confident in who you are, you're very confident in the skin that you're in. Sex appeal comes naturally. It's an easy thing. You don't have to force it. You don't have to be provocative. You don't have to dress all provocative. You don't have to, and I said it on the show earlier today, you don't have to expose all of you don't have to show all of your nakedness. You don't have to, get into all of the fashion statement and the stuff that we see out there in society. All of the fashion statements that they now everybody, is not all there, but some of us are. We like glam. I love glam. I do. I love fashion. I do. I love being sexy. I love being feminine. I do. But it's not where we become so provocative in our dress and in our approach and looking for attention, wanting all of the attraction from the wrong people, the wrong elements. Or, let me tell you something about the anointing. The anointing is very attractive. I'm going to say that again. The anointing is very attractive. The anointing, the all that we have as saved men and women of God, whether single or married, that all that is on us from the Messiah, that he smears on us and he anoints us, is very attractive. So we have to be careful about what we're attracting, what we're drawing to us, because everything that is following us and everybody that is coming after us is not coming for the same reason. So we have to be very, very particular, ladies, about who we attract, how much time we give, how much attention we give to what's attracting us. Okay? Now, when I say sexy, let me tell you what I think about when I say sexy. For those who thinks it's a bad word, for those who think that is the word of the world, that is sinful. You know why we think that way? Because we have conditioned our mind to believe that the world's way of sexy and what we've seen it to be is all ungodly. But I'm going to say this again. God made sex, and God made sex good. But God made sex for married people. So what happens with us that's not married? What happens with us, those of us that are single, and those of us that are deemed to be sexy? Men are very sexy. It's not just for females, but both male and female. We're going to break this up into two sections because we're going to deal with the singles, and we're going to come back and we're going to deal with the married, because a lot of times when we get married, we lose it. We lose our sex appeal. I don't know why that is. Well, actually, I do know why that is. And I talked about it on, if you go back and subscribe with me on YouTube and you look at Mary J. Heart Talk and you deal with intercourse, I think I did 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3. So the reason why we lose it, because we already know that the devil, Satan himself, comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. If you're saved, you already know that. That's why he's come. And if you're married and you're saved, he's come even stronger, even harder. And what is that to do? Is to break up the marriage union, is to divide the household, is to bring things and get things all out of order, all out of sync, because we know that sex is a great communication between husband and wife. Sex is a great communication between husband and wife. It's an expression of how we feel. It's a bind that we have, a commitment and a covenant that we share. That's what it is. And if the devil can come in to divide that, to separate that, to break that band, that's what he's going to do. And so I really particularly believe that that's why in marriages that we struggle when it comes to intimacy. Intimacy. What do you see? Intimacy, understanding each other, being on one accord with one another, walking in unity and harmony. The devil does not like that, guys. Why do you think that is so creative when we're single and we're sexy and we're feeling ourselves and our hormones are just jumping off the wall for those of us who cannot control them, and we're into relationship after relationship, brokenness after brokenness, going from this place to that place, that promiscuity, that it's there, right? It's there. You feeling sexy, you feeling horny, you want to have sex, and it's there all the time. And then you find that person that you want to be intimate with, and the chemistry is off the chain on every level. And guess what? You can't get enough of each other. I know, I'm coming right down your street. I know I am. But then what happens when you say I do? And all of that you once did is no longer being done. It's like gone. It's out the window. You're tired. You got a headache. You don't feel good. Why is that? Why is that? Okay. All right. I'm going to slow it down, because I know somebody's probably saying, well, first of all, it shouldn't have been intimate in the beginning. That's where you started off wrong in the beginning, because if you weren't having sex before marriage, you wouldn't have such a struggle. You wouldn't have such a fight, right? We're going to say all of the religious things that we know is the right, politically correct thing to say. But hey, it is what it is. To be honest, if I can be raw and real, to be really honest, most of us, I mean, I'm 51, so I'll say anybody over 40, I'm going to play it safe and keep it 40 and over. Most of us 40 and over that are married probably had sex already before we got married, to be honest. To be honest. And that's why I deal with it the way that I deal with it, because everybody was not a virgin when they got married, and everybody probably had been through another partner before they met the partner that they have, 40 and over. Now, we have some that have gotten married at that age, and that's the only person that they've ever known. That's a beautiful thing. That's a wonderful thing. That is so beautiful, and that's why God designed sex, because he designed it for married people. He designed it so we can stay in the confines of holy matrimony, in the bonds of unity, where we'll be together as one in covenant, where we won't have to deal with so many battles. He didn't design it just because you couldn't feel good, or he didn't want you to have fun, or he didn't want you to be intimate. He didn't want you to be passionate. It's not that. He's not saying don't have it. He's saying, yes, have sex. He said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish. He said, yes, have it. But he said, if you're not married, refrain from it. So why do we refrain from it if we're not married? We must refrain from it during that time of our lives, because he knows the soul ties that it would bring. He knows the destruction that would come. He knows what will happen to us emotionally, physically, spiritually, intimately, socially, All of that is all connected to sex. I'm going to say this again if you didn't hear it from the beginning. God made sex, and God made sex good, but God made sex for married people. You know, the last time we talked, ladies and gents, I believe our last subject that we, if I'm not mistaken, you can go back to YouTube and see. I'm not exactly sure, but if I'm not mistaken, I think our last conversation that we had was on intercourse. And so, why am I picking this back up today? Because I'm listening to marriages that are failing, marriages that are on the edge, that are dealing with these issues. They're dealing with these issues, and there are issues that can be addressed. There are issues that can be corrected. There are issues that if you talk about it together, you can change that situation. Ladies, let's deal with us. Can we deal with us up close and personal in our faces on tonight? Can we just deal with us? Because here's the real deal. When we have a partner and we're not intimate with our partner, and I'm talking about marriage right now, I'm talking about marriage, and we're not intimate with our partner, and our partner is letting us know how they feel, expressing to us their desire, their need, and what it is that they're wanting, and we are emotionally driven, right? We are emotional feelers, and we don't always feel like it. We're tired, we're exhausted, we have so much going on. We have the kids, we have our career, we have the home, we have taken care of the husband. All of that is draining. It's draining. Sometimes we feel depleted. Sometimes we feel like our band has been stretched so far that we don't have any more. We don't have any more to give, right? We don't have any. If we stretch any further, we might pop. So there are times that we would just totally shut down. We would just shut down, and we expect that when we shut down, it's supposed to be understood. It's supposed to be accepted. It's supposed to be considered in a sensitive manner, that this is where we are, this is how we feel. But what happens beyond that? Okay? Beyond that, because at some point, if you stay there, you're going to stay stuck, and you're going to stay in trouble. Let me tell you what my advice is. Oh, ladies, I'm going to be in trouble with you tonight. I know I'm going to be in trouble. Let me tell you this. Listen, I hope you feel it. I hope you get it. Okay, it's like this. If you have, oh gosh, let's see how I can say this. If you have a muscle that you never ever use, it becomes weakened. It becomes tired. It becomes lax. In order to build that muscle and to exercise that muscle, you have to put effort. You have to make effort. You have to make it a practice to make sure. I'm going to use myself, okay? I always use me. My foot was broken in 2 places. I was in a boot for over 3 months, 4 months, I believe. I'm still in a brace, believe it or not. Sometimes I come out of the brace, depending, I have to wear flats right now. If I don't move my foot, if I don't exercise my foot, if I don't get on the track and try to walk or go through physical therapy to get that foot operating the way that it once was operating and moving, the mobility in that foot, I have to build up muscles in my foot. I have lost calf muscles in my leg, okay? If I don't build that muscle, if I don't work that muscle, if I don't cause that foot to move and operate, guess what's going to happen? It's going to get stiffened. It's going to get weakened. It's not going to have any strength. And to move it and to lift it up would be such a challenge. It would be so difficult. It would become exhausting and tiring for me to do it. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it. And if I do not exercise that muscle, I would be walking, I would be limping. I would be so stiff that I would not be able to function the way that I know that I can. It's the same thing with our intimacy. When we lose it and we don't use it and we become stagnated and tired and depleted and don't want it, that's the same thing that happens, that we're no longer interested, and then it becomes a mental thing, an emotional thing, that we just don't feel like doing it anymore. That's, I'm being honest. And so what happens is that, guess what happens? You've just opened a door. You've just opened a door for the enemy to come in, for the enemy to dwell, to put that wedge between you and your partner, to let your partner feel that he's not being appreciated, or he's not being accepted, and he's not being pleased and satisfied. And what happens, same thing with the females, with us women, our partners, if we're rejected and we feel that rejection, it's going to start having an effect on our emotions. It's going to have an effect on how we feel about who we with and the confidence that we have. And we deal with it the same way. Our partners deal with it the same way. So we're going to deal with it on tonight. That's why I wanted to tag this. I wanted to tag this tonight, Saved, Single, and Sexy. But I didn't want to just say single, because I knew if I just said single, I might lose some of our married people that will come on here. So if you're coming on here for the first time and you're listening to me, I want you to put up a 1 if this is your first time on tonight. Put up a 1 tonight if this is your first time. Now, if you came on and you're coming on now after this, and you're listening to the replay once this is over and you're not live with us, I want you to put hashtag replay, just so I can know that you've connected with us on tonight, that I know you were here. But we're talking about tonight, saved and sexy. Let's just call it that. Saved and sexy. Knowing who we are, knowing our worth, knowing our value, knowing what we have and what's in us. And everything that is in us is meant to create us to be the person that we are, to develop you to be who you are. And a lot of times when we see our ladies that are so provocatively dressed, showing everything, totally exposed, it says a little bit about we're not confident. We're not there yet. Because when you have that sex appeal and you have the treasure on the inside of you, there's something about you that's going to tell you this is worth so much more, that this has to be preserved, that this has to be put away, that this has to be put up high. You know, when you think about the precious jewels and those things that you treasure the most, that they're put up way high, on the high shelf, you know, and it's locked, that you have to reach up to get to it. You need a key to get to it. You might need to get through some things to get to it. You might have to call the manager or the person in charge of the store to open up that case, because it's so valuable. But when we out there and we're just displaying it all and we're putting it all out there, that says a lot. That's not even, let me tell you something, that is not even being sexy. That's not what sexy is. Sexy is confidence. Sexy is understanding your worth. Sexy is feeling attractive, being attractive, and knowing who you are, and knowing that you are. And you don't have to flaunt it. You don't have to do all of that. But we're going to deal with it on tonight, because so many of our single ladies that are saved, that are seeing all of what's out there, everything that's out there that everybody else is doing. We get caught up into so much vanity. We get caught up into so much of what's going on in society, and we miss it. We miss it. We really do. But let's talk about that on tonight, because our show today was about love the skin you're in. When you really love the skin that you're in, you say, I love me, all of me, the total me, the whole me, from top to bottom. It doesn't matter how dark my skin is or how light my skin is. It does not matter how thin I am or how thick I am. It does not matter how wide my nose is or how flat my buttocks is, because I see a lot of women talking about that too, about wanting a butt. It's a muscle. Same thing. You build it. That's all. Squats, you build that muscle. If you want that, you build that muscle up. You do leg lifts and squats if you want that. It's all about working what you have. Working what you have within you, loving what you have within you. And first of all, it has to be first pleasing to yourself. If you're not happy with who you are, if you're not happy with how you are, if you're not happy with what you have, you're not going to be able to please anybody else. You're not going to be able to be happy with anybody else. Everything you see, you're going to want it. You're never going to be satisfied with you. So the validation starts within you. It starts with knowing who you are, whose you are, that you're chosen, that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, that you are the head and you're not the tail, that you are above only and you're not beneath. It's all about what's in you is what's going to come out of you. And if you're at a place where you're so broken and you have not quite healed yet, it's going to begin to surface. It's not just you just feeling yourself. There's some things that has not been healed inside. There's some deep things that you still need to work on, that's going on the inside. So let's deal with all of that tonight. Know who you are. Love who you are. I'll tell you, take a deep look within the mirror and just stare at yourself. Stare at yourself till you get to the bottom of their soul, till you get to the core of your being. Stare at yourself long enough and hard enough to just look at yourself, all of you, all of your failures, all of your fears, come on, all of your faults, everything that you see, all who you used to be, all of that. You still have to love all of that. And let me tell you what'll keep you bound for a very long time. What would keep you bound is playing the victim, holding on to your past, thinking about who was not there, thinking about why you went through what you went through, thinking about how things should have been and how things could have been only if it wasn't, and but, and doubt, and fear, and unbelief. But when you begin to let go all of that and say, you know what? I cannot change my past. I cannot change where I come from. I cannot change what has happened, but I can change and I can make a better decision now. I can change the course of my path and I can go in another direction because I'm no longer the victim. I am the victor. I am an overcomer. When you begin to think like that and think about overcoming those obstacles and overcoming those situations and those challenges and all of the stuff that you went through, you begin to be empowered. You begin to be strengthened. You take your power back and you become to own it and to walk in it. And then you begin to be confident and built up in every area of your life to know that, you know what? I have ownership over my body. I know the Lord is the creator of my body, but he has given me the right to choose. I have ownership over my body. I have ownership over my mind. I can cause my mind to think otherwise. I can cast down all of these thoughts and all of these imaginations. I can cast all of this stuff down. So I can begin to think differently. I can operate differently. I see myself differently. I know who I am. And when you know who you are, I'm going to tell you, you are a force to be reckoned with when you really know the power that you have, when you really know the gift of God that is on the inside of you and the treasures that you possess. When you really understand and walk in who you are, you no longer settle for everything. You no longer settle for just, being with this one and spending time with that one. When you understand who you are, you realize that your time is valuable. You don't have time to waste. You're not casting your pearls before swines. You understand that you have to walk like you have somewhere to go. You don't have time to just keep going in a circle, repeating the same cycle over and over and over when you understand your word. sexy is not a bad word. We talk about it in a provocative way. We tell stories about it as though it's some evil thing, and it's something that God created. It's something that God made, and it's something that God made good. Yes, he made it good, and he made it for married people. So I want you all to be confident. It's okay. Hi, Zena. It's okay to be saved and sexy. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, when we hear that word, we think, oh, what is she talking about? She doesn't have any business trying to be sexy. She doesn't have any business trying to, to be fashionable and stylish and all of that. It's a beautiful thing, but you have to be able to treasure it. Have to be able to treasure it. And ladies, I said before, all of our married ladies that are married, treasure it. It's a gift. Treasure it. It's a gift that God gave to you in the confines of marriage, in unity, in holy matrimony. It is a treasure. It is a treasure to give to your husband. It's a treasure to give to your wife. We treat sex like it's some kind of prize that that we present, and then when we're upset, we're not presenting that prize anymore. We're putting that person in timeout. We're playing all of these childish games, and our marriages are at stake because we have that component as an expression of sharing ourselves with each other. God said, and Adam knew his wife. When Adam went into it, he knew his wife. When you have sex with your partner, you become one with them. You know them. You're in their soul. You understand what the mechanism and all that they're going through and the pressures that they're dealing with and the stresses. You know each other. That is a blessing. That is a treasure. That is something that you cherish. That's not something that you use as a weapon against your partner to say, okay, now because I'm feeling some kind of way, I'm shutting down, or you stay on your side of the room, I'm gonna stay on my side of the room. I'm not speaking to you, you're not speaking to me. What is that? No, that's demonic. If you think about it, that's the trick of the enemy. That is the devil himself that wants to divide. And as soon as you open that door, as soon as you crack that door, he's coming in, and he's coming in. Guess what? He's coming in with all sorts of things. He's coming in with fornication and adultery. He's coming in with perversion. He's going to come in with pornography. He's going to come in with masturbation. He's going to come in with everything. What are you doing? That's not the plan of God. That is not the plan of God. And then when we let the enemy come in, and then we wonder how we end up here, what has happened, why we're not communicating, why aren't we on one accord, why aren't we feeling each other, why aren't we walking in harmony, why we're not communicating? Because you allowed the door to be opened. You cracked the door open. And I talked about it already, ladies. Hi, Monique. Yes, I talked about it already. We talked about it on Intercourse Part 1, 2, and 3. Why am I talking about it today? Because the issue still exists today. It's still going on today. It's still happening today. And it's not stopping. And I don't know, particularly for us, ladies, what is it going to take for us to understand? I don't know. Hopefully not the end. Hopefully not adultery. Hopefully not an affair. Hopefully, you know, that we just don't cut each other off. Why are we doing this? Why are we playing these games? This is fire. We're playing with fire. That is fire. It's fire. And if you play with fire, you get burned. You've heard the old folks say it. So let's not open our doors up to all of this stuff. That's for our married ladies and single ladies, single men, both of you, because that's the thing. We've taught our girls, we taught our ladies to refrain, to save themselves, but we don't teach our boys that. We don't teach our men that. We teach them, man, go get it. man, you're not a man unless you done get you hit that, you know. And so now we have our men or our young boys that are growing up attached to the spirit of lust, and they feel like they have to have every woman that is out there. They have to get every woman that is out there. If they're not getting into every woman that is out there, they're not a man. So we've been taught all the wrong things about sex. That's why we think it's a bad word. That's why we think it's, saying sexy and being saved is sinful, because we have learned all of the wrong stuff. But ladies, single ladies, think about this. Think about this. Say to yourself, the last man that I had sex with is the last man that I will have sex with until I am married. The last man that I had sex with is the last man that I will have sex with until I am married. That's not hard. It's not hard. Think about what happens. Think about the soul ties. And I'm going to get off of here in just a moment because I don't want to be on here too long. But think about the soul ties. Think about the emotional ties. Think about the bondage of trying to break away from that. You already know, because it's not your first time. And if you've already been through it already, you already understand that you had a hard time breaking away before. So why put yourself in that position again? Why put yourself in that predicament again? Why have the same struggles again? Think about what damages that you're doing to your esteem, to your emotions, to your state of being, your mentality, all of that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it not to be sure of who you're going to be with and where you're going to end up. It's not worth it. So even if you, say for instance, even if you decide that you want to have sex with somebody because you're feeling some kind of way about that person, or you're in love with that person, or whatever you're feeling, and then you end up having sex with that person, and then down the line, something happens where now you're not even no longer with the guy. You're not even with them. Y'all, you're not even dealing with him. And you're thinking about, why in the world, what on the earth was I thinking? Why did I feel the way that I felt, and I fell for this? Then you become the victim. You begin feeling condemned and feeling guilt and shame. Why go through all of that? Why go through all of that? So say this with me again. The last man that I had sex with is the last man that I will have sex with until I'm married. The last man that I had sex with was the last man that I would have sex with until I'm married. Okay? You don't continue to do it over and over again. If I'm saying that right. Now, that doesn't mean the last man you had sex with, you're going to keep having sex with him until you're married. That's not what I'm saying. If you got that, that's not what that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, I don't care if it was last night. That was the last time. That's what I'm saying. If it was last month, that was the last time. If it was last year, that was the last time. That's what I'm saying.